going. What's going on? Happy Good Friday. Another live event. Man to Man Pod.
Yes, sir.
Antoine Bethea. I got my co-host Darius Butler. What's good, bro?
In the building. What's happening, man? Chilling.
I hear you. How your Friday going?
Man, it's going good. I woke up a little, I don't know, stomach was bothering me a little bit. I'm gonna fight through this one. It's like the flu game right now, man. What about you?
I'm good, man. I'm solid, man. Got up, man, and chill, man. So no excuse, no explanations, man. We ain't trying to hear shit about that little stomach bug.
I got my fluids to be good, man.
Yeah, let's make it happen. Man. So obviously, sure, we got another great weekend of great football. We're gonna jump right into it. And for the listeners and everybody joining in, man, we're gonna have Gerald Alexander jumping in with us a little bit later in the show. So y'all tune in for that. If y'all got some questions, man, y'all put your questions in the comment section.
NFL
vet, yeah. All that good stuff.
Now he's the DB coach of the Miami Dolphins, so definitely gonna be chopping up, talking some good stuff.
Yeah. So, man, let's jump into a Saturday's game, man. Number 1 seed, the Packers, man, against the number 6 seed against the Los Angeles Rams, man. How do you see this? How do you see this game playing out?
Man, it's strength versus strength. The number 1 scoring offense with the Packers. You got the number 1 scoring defense with the Rams. Obviously, you got Devontae Adams and Ramsey. Love to see that matchup. Aaron Donald against one of the better O-lines and Packers. Man, it's gonna be a good one. I think it's gonna be a dog fight, but they got a question mark at quarterback over there in LA. And obviously the Packers don't. They got an MVP over there, so I think the Packers gonna edge it out. What you think?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Definitely going to be a good matchup. Definitely can't wait. Like you said, good on good, great on great. Ramsey against DA, man. So that's going to be a great matchup. Definitely want to see, how Aaron Donald's going to be able to play through that pain. Obviously, in the conversation of defensive MVP. So he's going to make it happen. So it's going to be a good one. But I got the Packers winning. But it was something I was thinking about this morning, right? So we all. I think when you play the game, you like, yo, I want that first round bye, right? But I was kind of thinking about it this morning. Like sometimes, man, that shit could come back and bite you in the ass. Where you have that week off. Obviously, you're fresh. You get if you got some guys that's banged up, you kind of get them a little bit more healthier. But having that week off versus a team that played the previous week, played well, and has a rhythm going, man. Sometimes I get a little nervous for those teams that took that week off, man. How you feel about that?
It really depends on what you do with that week, man. Like you said, sometimes it's teams that need to get healthy. Sometimes it could be a team that just can draw some more shit up in the dirt, like an Andy Reid. You give them an extra week to prepare for a game. They're gonna come out with a special game plan for you. But it really depends on what you do with that week. How your team is really built up. If you got a team that's, not really handling themselves right, which you more times than not, you're not, because you're gonna have a number 1 seed. You got a good team, top to bottom. So I think I would take that week off if I can get it. If I'm playing well.
Nah, I'm with you. Shout out to Will Blackman, and he in here. What did he say? He said,
but Cam, he on one right now.
Yeah. Shit, number 1 overall efficiency, 2 Packers offensive, Ram defense for sure. Cam Akers need to rush for like 150. Yeah, that's a good thing about having a back and having an offensive line who can run the ball. Obviously, with A-Rod on that other sideline, you want to make sure he stays there on that sideline. So if you can able to run the ball, control the clock, time of possession, man, that's one way the offense can help your defense out. So definitely
they got Snacks too, man. Snacks Harrison. So if he can get in there and be kind of what he used to be in that rank game, that could be a big boost for the Packers.
Nah, but I think it's gonna be a good matchup, man. Good matchup. But it sounds like you got the Packers. I got the Packers as well.
It
So
is.
we
I think they got a 6.5 point spread.
Packers do.
The Packers way. I mean, golf. If I'm the Packers, man, I just got to force golf to beat me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Down the field throw. I don't see it happening.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Shit. Let's move to the next show, the night game. You got the Bills versus the Ravens.
Ooh, LJ, man, LJ. Both these teams are hot though. These are two hottest teams in the AFC. Obviously the Chiefs. The Chiefs are the Chiefs, and if they come out this bye week, on fire, then they're gonna be unstoppable. But it's gonna be exciting, man. Two young dogs at quarterback, Allen and Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely excited for this one.
Nah, I am too, man. And you've seen it on social media where they both been giving each other love, man. And it's definitely respect off the field. But to see these two young quarterbacks, man, come in here and lead their squad, man, it's gonna be a lot of fireworks, man. I got
who you got in this one, man?
I got the Ravens, man. I got the Ravens. I said it before, man. Ravens is a team coming into playoffs. I feel as though I won't want to see. You know what I mean? Coming down the stretch, Lamar was playing well. Look at the game last week. Run defense was on point. Secondary made some big plays. Lamar was in his bag. Run game was in his bag, and just coming off that game and the confidence that they have, man. I'm gonna roll the dice and not to take anything away from the Bills and what they've been able to do this year and how they're playing, but I'm gonna take the Ravens on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Bills, man. They hot, and the only concern I have with the Ravens is I don't trust them, in a 2-minute drive to win the game, and that's what a lot of these games come down to. The Bills, when they beat our Colts last week, a big part of that game, a big swing in that game is when we went for it on fourth down, and then Josh Allen got the ball on the 2-minute drill and went 96 on us and scored a touchdown before halftime. Like, you got a quarterback and an offense that can do that. Brian Daboll been doing this thing, calling plays all year. I gotta get the edge of the Bills, man.
Nah, I hear you. I mean, shit. Like I said, it's playoff football. Shit, two good teams. Two good quarterbacks. Defenses are real good. So we gonna see what's gonna happen, man.
Mm-hmm.
I like it though. I like the matchup. So
it's gonna be a good one, man. Because the Ravens, got healthy up front. Bills can't really run the ball right now outside of Josh Allen, so that may hurt him. But how dynamic he is right now, man, it don't matter.
Yeah,
it don't matter.
What happened?
I'm saying you heard X. Even the last Xavier Howard in his interview, he said that's the team he picked, and he played against the Chiefs, played against the Bills.
Yeah, we're gonna see.
We're gonna see.
We're gonna see. I had a little friendly wager with CP, man, with Clinton Porters, man. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Hopefully,
this one coming up.
Yeah, hopefully I come out on the winning end.
All right, we're gonna see.
We definitely will. We will keep it moving. Keep it moving. We got so on Sunday, man, we got Browns and Chiefs. Browns coming off a huge win against the Pittsburgh Steelers, divisional opponent. So how do you see that panning out? Obviously I'm rocking with the Chiefs, but you got OBJ coming out saying, like, don't be surprised when we win. Obviously I know they on a high right now. How do you see that game panning out?
Man, it's gonna pan out however that Chiefs D-line allow it to. The thing about the Browns, they had a big win last week, but they did get banged up front with their O-line. One of the best O-lines when they're intact. If they could get them two-headed monster in the backfield going, it could get ugly. That's gonna be the best defense for Pat Mahomes.
Nah, for sure, for sure. That two-headed monster is real, and we continuously we harp on that week in and week out. Playoff football, football down the stretch, November, December, January football. If you can have a solid defense and a good run game, you got a good equation, a great equation to go far in the playoffs, man. So, shit. That's scary. That's scary when you see one dog running off the field, you see another dog running on the field.
Fresh.
Shit. Fresh too.
And Kareem Hunt gonna be ready for this one too.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I always go back to Fred Taylor and MJD, man. When we played them boys in Jacksonville and seeing Fred Taylor run off the field and see MJD running on the field, it was like, you know what I mean?
Not want that pressure, bro.
At all. But like you said, Kareem Hunt definitely has some little bit of extra motivation, man. But we're gonna see, man. We're gonna see.
And it was disrespectful with them. I think this is a 10.5. It was 10.5 or 10 points.
You think that's disrespectful?
I mean, I think that's disrespectful. In the playoffs, divisional round, 10-point spread. Come on, man. Come on, man. We just put up 40-something against the division rival, a 12-win football team at the end of the day. But
that's two different teams. Two different teams.
More motivation, man.
Hey,
more
motivation. Two different teams. Shit. Let's go to the we got some legends at quarterback playing in this last game, Bucks and the Saints. Saints coming in as number 2 seed, Bucks coming in number 5 seed. Both solid teams led by, two legendary quarterbacks. The Bucks coming off a win against the Washington football team. Who you see coming out of this game, or what do you see like the talking points going into this game?
Obviously, it's going to be the two quarterbacks. And, they've been around forever, been doing it forever. It's foreign territory for Brady, man. It's back-to-back road games for him in the playoffs.
Right.
That defense, though, they get Devin White back. I think it really just going to depend on which defense shows up for the Bucks, man. We've been kind of talking about them all year. They're kind of up and down. But when they're clicking on defense and they're moving the ball like they have been these last 4 or 5 weeks on offense, they're going to be tough to beat, especially for a third time this season. If the Saints were to win. Now, the games ain't been close, though.
Nah, Saints been whooping that ass.
Yeah, they've been whooping that ass, but if Saints can get them 3 times in a row, that'd be crazy. So I don't see that happen. I'm going to take the Bucks on the road in a close one.
I'm with you. I got the Bucks as well. I don't think it's going to be tough to beat Brady and, BA and company and all them 3 times in a row. But like you said, like the two wins that the Saints do have, man, them shits ain't even been close. So they might just got their number.
It's a fact. So I guess, but I can't. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah,
the ball's different, man.
We will see. See. Great weekend, man. Great weekend. Full games, man. I think it's gonna be some good matchups, close games. So I can't wait.
For sure, man. What about any new hires? I saw right before I went to sleep last night. Robert Saleh took the job up in New York. Everything I hear and everything I see look like a great hire.
Yeah, great hire, man. Defensive minded. I think he has, walking into a situation where he has some pieces where they could be successful, man. I think again, one of those things is like, just changing that culture in the building. You know what I mean? You look at Joe Judge right down the street with the Giants, what he's been able to do his first year in there, having guys buy into the system. You know what I mean? They missed out on the playoffs, but you can kind of see, they're moving in the right direction. So I'm happy for Rob. I think has a great football mind. From what I've been hearing, a great guy as well. I think he's I think he's bringing somebody over from the 49ers too to be his OC.
Yeah, something LaFleur, I think.
LaFleur. I think it was Matt LaFleur.
I don't think it's Matt, but
it's not Matt.
Something.
Scott, somebody LaFleur. Bringing him over. So I think that they have some continuity. Kind of knows who his guy is. So I think it's a good hire for the Jets.
You think he gonna rock with he gonna stick with Darnold?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. Like, man, I everybody they talk Mike LaFleur.
Mike, okay.
Appreciate that, Richard Garcia. I mean, a lot of people be talking down on what I'm saying, man. I think he has the tools to be a quality quarterback in the league. You know what I mean? Once you get all the pieces around him, get a good foundation, and a support system behind him, I think he'll be able to do some things in the league.
Yeah, he could be a good starter. I wouldn't give up on him this year. If I had a chance to get Lawrence, I would, but without Lawrence, nah, I give him another chance, fill some holes, try to trade back and get some more draft capital, honestly. Fill some of these other holes, but I stick with Darnold.
Yeah. Sure, we have some GM hires.
Yeah, we had another head coach hire yesterday too, Urban Meyer, obviously.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah, Urban Meyer. How you feel about that one?
I'm not, too excited. We'll see what he does. You know what I mean? He definitely has his name rings bells on the college ranks, but I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, it's gonna be different, man. I don't know if he have any. He don't have any pro history coaches, so I don't know how that transition gonna be. These ain't college kids, man, but we're gonna see.
No, for sure.
He definitely done won everywhere he went.
Yeah, I mean, shit, and that plays a big part. Just having that winning mentality, that winning culture. Winners know how to win. You know what I mean? So if he could somehow bring a little bit of that into the Jacksonville Jaguars organization, shit, I think Duval County would be happy. Shit,
absolutely.
Basically, what the hell they've been going through on these past couple of years.
Absolutely. But so we got obviously Nick Caserio got hired last week as the GM with the Houston Texans. We had some other GM hires.
Brad Holmes coming from the Los Angeles Rams. Shout out to HBCU. He's a North Carolina A&T grad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We out here. We making some shit happen. Brad Holmes, GM of the Detroit Lions now.
Okay, yeah. He's with the Rams for the past 18 years. So the Lions signed him to a 5-year deal.
That's good. He made that move from St. Louis to LA. Say he's been into been in the room where they made some crucial decisions. Obviously bringing some of the big pieces that they have over there now. So
all right. Who else we got? We got the Broncos. They hired George Patton.
I don't know too much about George.
Me either. He was with the Vikings the last 14 years. Signed him to a 6-year deal. The Carolina Panthers, they hired Scott Fitterer. Seattle Seahawks VP Operations, Scott Fitterer. So they filling these spots up, man.
Yes, slowly but surely. And we'll talk about the Bears. They keeping Nagy in pace.
Yeah, they announced that no extension, but they announced that they will keep Nagy in pace.
What you say? How you feel about that?
I mean, what have they done to? I mean, I don't get it. Like, if you look at the roster, you look at like what have they done to stay? If you're not going to extend them, this dude came out. He ever had a comment. He said, "Have we gotten the quarterback position right? No. Have you won enough games? No. Have they shown that they deserve to be here or something like that? Yes." Like, that don't make any sense to me, man.
Yeah, nah.
Break it down, start over, man. Get some fresh blood in there, get somebody a new opportunity. But I ain't calling the shot. So
yeah, so we'll see. They say we got money making Mitch, baby. We gonna
You think they're not paying him?
Nah,
there's no way they can pay him.
Nah, they'll have somebody else in there running this show next year. And even we talking about the Bears. Let's shout out, man. Shout out Chuck Pagano. You know, he announced his retirement.
Mm-hmm.
We both spent some time with him in Indy as our head coach, man. Definitely good dude, great coach, football mind, family man. So definitely want to send you off and give you your roses while you're here, man. Speak highly of the dude, man. Great dude.
Great dude, man. I called him yesterday. Had to congratulate him, man. Just he said he's been coached for 37 years. So he was there. He was sitting there with his first grandchild. I'm like, man, just talked about the sacrifices that come with that. But great man, great coach.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely had an impact on my life, man. So salute the old Chucky P, man.
For sure. But shoot, man, we got our man GA just touched in. We're gonna add him to the chat.
Yes, sir.
What's happening, man?
Yo, what's going on?
What's good with you?
Man, I'm good, man. Love what you guys are doing with the podcast, man, and giving everybody an understanding of what we deal with from the secondary perspective, from the experiences you guys have brought to the game. So, I appreciate you guys having me on.
No problem, man. No problem. So, you played. How long did you play in the league?
I played 5 years.
5 years in the league, second round pick. What was that experience like transitioning from college football to the league, man, as a DB?
You know what? It was it was kind of a whirlwind, because my career at Boise State, I was a corner all the years until my senior year, and I played safety, and then getting drafted as a safety and playing behind Daniel Bullocks, who ended up getting hurt in a preseason game, and the next thing you know, I was a rookie starter in the National Football League. And so, you deal with that and, have some ups, have some downs. And then my second year, I broke a bone in my neck. So I had a significant kind of started up here, started as an NFL starter, and then had the injury. Then I got traded, and it was just I went from, sugar to shit at the end of the day from a playing career standpoint. So, it's one of those things that now as a coach, I use all of that playing experience, personal experience, obviously on and off the field to help develop the guys that I have the opportunity to coach now.
Nah, that's dope, man. And to be able to have that, that experience as far as, playing in the league and obviously now you're the DB coach for the Dolphins, but prior to that, you were the DB coach in the college ranks. Mm-hmm. So I always kind of, talk about as far as being able to get your hands on a student athlete in high school is very important. But for you, being able to coach and mentor these young men in college, man, how was that knowing the experience that you had as a pro player and as a college athlete?
It was good because, when you working with those individuals at that stage in their life, you've done everything that they're trying to do. And so that was one of the things, even as I was recruiting kids, I understand and look through the lens, and I've kind of stepped into the pitfalls that you hope to not have to do because of the experience and the life experience that I'm giving you. And obviously, getting the chance to work with individuals and develop them and get them to achieve their dreams and getting their name called and getting drafted. I mean, that was something that really motivated me. It's like, man, I want you to receive that same phone call that I have one day. I want you to experience that same joy. But just at the end of the day, I'm going to prepare you mentally, physically, intellectually to be able to handle that level as you go in, because I'm going to teach you the foundations of the game. So when you get to the NFL locker room, hey, all you got to do is figure out what language they call it. You know what cover 3 is, you know what the issues are, you know all of this schematical stuff to where now you're not getting there and hearing certain things for the first time and you trying to keep a job.
Nah, for sure. So for our listeners, man, I'm pretty sure you had somebody like this. I know I did, and Deep Butt, he kind of mentions it as well. So for the listeners, talk about, obviously you're in that, and you're in the meeting rooms and you in these guys' lives and you're talking football. You want them to become the best football player possible. But talk about the other roles that you play as a as a coach, where for some you could be a father figure, you could be a brother, you could be a mentor. Kind of touch on that a little bit.
I think I was able to be around some really good coaches as I climbed through this profession to be in the situation that I'm in now. And one of the things that was, relative to me as far as the stuff that I've learned, and I'm pretty sure the stuff that we've all experienced, is the connection that you have to a coach and how he can get the best out of you. I think that lays a foundation for what you can do for a player in his development on the field. So if I'm on the field and hey, the game is emotional and I'm trying to get at you and it's coming from a place of care.
Mm-hmm.
Players don't care what I know unless they know, they know that I care about them.
Yeah.
So, whether it be, especially when you're dealing with the college kids and, they coming from home and they learning themselves throughout their lives. So now it's like, hey, I'm going to be the one. Hey, coach, man, can I come holler at you and be that ear that listens to them. And obviously we know how important mental health is and just making sure that, hey, man, come to me with whatever, and obviously I'm going to hold you accountable to the things that needs to be done. But ultimately, that the first thing that I love you, and I love you enough to tell you the truth. And so that's important. That's important when you start talking about, as a coach, building culture. What is that? That's you're trying to change behavior. You're trying to change a train of thought, and guys won't buy into what you're trying to get done from an individual to a collective standpoint. Again, if we're not all on the same page and they don't know that I care about them and the things that they go through.
Okay. That's what's up. That's deep right there. So you done been obviously a player in college, player in the pros, a coach in college, coach in the pros. We were just talking before you got on about Urban Meyer getting hired in Jacksonville. So what's it like from your perspective and just from a coaching perspective overall, dealing with a room full of college kids, a roster full of college kids, and then a roster full of, grown men? What's the biggest difference?
I think the biggest difference, here's what I would say. The similarities are players just want to have great information that can help them become better. The difference between obviously your college kid and your professional is really the level of commitment. Not everybody in college is committed to doing the necessary things like, a pro guy is. Obviously a pro guy, man, he's there to feed his family. Everybody wants to be the starter and do all of that, but not everybody in college. Some guys get the scholarship and, hey, it's not working out for them and they're good. They're good with that. Mm-hmm. Good with whatever, they need to do to make sure that they're on the roster and they're getting the books paid for. But as far as just what's the major difference, coaching college kids versus coaching professionals, I look at it relatively the same. What you can't assume, and this is one thing that I learned in my transition, being a pro coach is, you cannot assume just because you're dealing with an Xavier Howard or Byron Jones, you can assume that, hey, they got it. That's the worst thing that you can do as a coach, And again, it's teaching a college player, teaching a high school kid, hey, cover three and break it all the way down to the four underneath, 3 deep, what that means, how that gets attacked is the same thing that I got to do with the group that I'm currently coaching, and never assume because things come up. And as we know, you got to have the consistency and the detail, especially at this level, because that's the difference. Yeah. And so again, players just want good information that's going to help them. And, you talk about Urban Meyer. He's going to be doing the same thing. Urban is a leader. He's led everywhere he's gone. And it's not going to be any different than what he's trying to get done with this process in Jacksonville. It's just going to be a different level of athlete that he's working with.
Nah, it's real that what you just said as far as that you can't assume. And I think that the great defensive back coaches and just the great coaches I've been around in general, they have that same, that same thought process. And it was funny for me one year, as DBs, you would get together at somebody's crib and you'll watch film, you'll break down film, and we just got to talking ball. And one of our he was a starting DB at the time. He was a rookie. A big time player was like, I can't read 3-step. And this is like halfway through a year where like through OTAs and everything, coach is talking about, look, we got to read 3-step. We got to read 3-step. And for me, I kind of took it for granted just because in college I was taught how to read 3-step. Yeah. So for you to make that comment, it's like, that was the first thing that came off, like that rung a bell in my head was like, man, I remember young boy was struggling out there, like, because his whole college career was like all press for him.
Yeah.
So he didn't play off coverage. He didn't have to read the 3-step. He didn't have to have his eyes transition to the receiver. So for him, it was all bump and run. I'm the best corner out here. I'm a follow the best receiver. Take this receiver out of the game. So that's dope. And for obviously for the coaches that's listening, that's one nugget you could take. Like, never assume.
That's something you can't take for granted as a coach. And you can have the assumption, especially when you're a college coach making the transition to the league, and you can just say, hey, assume that these guys got that. I don't need to cover that. I don't need to go into great detail with 3-step you'd be surprised, especially with some of the college kids and where they come from. Not everybody comes from a good, even though it might be a big school, it might not be great coaching there. That's just the facts. And so when you get them, and even the guys that are currently here, that have played in the NFL and have years and have had great careers and great starts to their careers, as a coach, you got to break it all the way back down. Say, hey, well, I assume since you're at this level, you know how to tackle. Well, damn it, we're gonna cover tackling. We're going to talk about body position and, getting off of blocks and making sure that you got the proper leverage on the ball carrier and, all of that, break it all the way down. And that's an annual deal, So when we get back into the lab and we get a chance to work with our players again with the 21 season, we're going back to the foundation of football 101, and again, I could never assume. Here's a great story. So when I first got the job, obviously, life changed for everybody, right? So we're doing Zoom meetings. We're not doing OTAs or anything like that. So, and I've done this over the course of time in my coaching career. And it's kind of more of a training camp deal. But when you're having Zoom meetings every day in April, it's kind of hard to continue to keep the attention of the players. So, I usually do this Jeopardy deal. So I have like the sections, just like Jeopardy. Hey, football 101, NFL history. So I got these categories, and so the final Jeopardy question, right? So it got competitive. Guys liked it, and it was all of that. So I said the final Jeopardy question, and it was like, how many referees are on the field in an NFL game, right? How many referees? So both teams got it wrong. They said like 7. There's 7 referees. Yeah. I said, no, man, there's one referee. All the rest guys, they're officials.
Officials, right.
One referee. And so it's like little things like that. And again, that's obviously extreme, but hey, how many guys got to be on the line of scrimmage in order for a formation to be legal? How wide is the field? How long is the field? How many yards are between the hashes? And just, again, it's just teaching the game, but it's not assuming. And hopefully as you build the curriculum and then you're talking about the details of defense, again, as a coach, you can never assume and take those opportunities for teaching for granted.
Yeah, I've only been in one place where I had to learn those things. The length of the field between the hashes. That was New England. So
obviously, where this, where Flo came from. And
Flo, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, when you have an opportunity to teach the game, and then obviously you can build off the foundation, then you understand, all right, this is where certain concepts are going to be attacked. And this is how, this is where the slot curl defender in cover 2 is supposed to be. And that's where they're going to attack you and all of that. And so, again, it's just laying the foundation of the game. And again, never assume, because all these individuals are coming from different colleges and they're growing into the league. And again, you can assume that they know, but a lot of the times if you ask them, they don't.
Yeah, that's for sure. Did you know when you were playing that you would want to get into coaching after? Or
you know what?
I
didn't. I kind of thought about it. I asked questions, especially towards the end of my career, like, hey, how did you know if you wanted to get into coaching? What's the difference between the college game and the pro game? And, when I really found out that I wanted to do it, I either wanted to do kind of what you guys are doing. Obviously, this is a different platform, but do some TV stuff or possibly coach. I knew what I wanted to coach when I was going, would have been my 6th year in the league. I was out, trying to get back in, doing the free agent hustle. And I ended up volunteering at my high school in California. And I'm thinking like, okay, I went to a game that Friday night. I'm like, well, maybe I come out here and help the kids. Hell, there's only so much time I can do working out and staying in shape throughout the day. Go over there, do some individual, help the kids out, whatever. And went out there and really kind of poured into it. Next thing I know, I'm helping game plan and all of that stuff. I'm working day to day with and it's what I look forward to every day, working out and doing the coaching stuff. But I knew this is exactly what I wanted to do. I had a workout with the Cowboys. So flew out to Dallas. It just so happened, usually that stuff happens on a Tuesday. The workout was actually planned for a Friday. Something happened, flew me out that Thursday. And the only thing I kept thinking was, we got this big league game on Friday, and obviously I want to get signed. But, as I'm sitting there in Dallas post-workout and, you going through hey, you're going to get signed, you're going through the medical part. I'm thinking like, yo, when this team comes out and trips with the back over here, we got to make sure. I'm thinking about all this stuff. I'm like, okay, well, I hope that if I don't get signed, I can get on that plane and I can be there for the game. That's the only thing that I kept thinking about. And I didn't get signed, got to the game, and I'm like, you know what? If I never play a down football again, this is exactly what I want to do. And sure enough, didn't do it, and I committed to it, and I made some phone calls and tried to tap into some opportunities to be a grad assistant somewhere. And a couple years later, man, I'm sitting here as the Dolphins DB coach.
Nah, that's dope. That's dope, man. I love the story. And it's crazy because a lot of people just don't know the journey. You know what I'm saying? Don't know the journey, don't know what goes into making these like life decisions. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, like you said, you've been playing ball for so long, and who would want to turn down an opportunity to play with the Dallas Cowboys? You know what I mean? But in your mind, it's like, shoot, my youngins back home, I want to help them succeed. So that's definitely a beautiful thing. A question that I want to ask, and this is more so maybe, some young cats that's watching this, that's going to listen to it. As a DB coach, right? If I came into your room and be like, Coach GA, I want you to help me break down this film from a DB standpoint. Like, what would be like your 3 to 5 things you would tell me to help me understand the game as I'm sitting there critiquing and breaking down film?
And let's talk about a safety. All right. So, if that's the case, the first thing I would say is, understanding personnel. Who's on the field? How are they trying to, block up, what are your keys? What are you looking at? What is the offensive line's mannerisms? Let's say, hey, we're talking about 3 deep and you're the edge defender, and how you gonna set the edge, or how you gonna read the difference between play action and run game and just regular, high hat, low hat. Okay, now let's talk about a week of preparation. All right, let's look at all the first and second downs. Let's look at the runs. Let's look at the play action passes. Let's insert yourself into the tape with certain calls. Hey, you would be in this position, so look at this, because that's what you're going to be looking at on Sunday. And not try to know everything that they're going to do and say when they're in this formation, and sometimes that works, but at the end of the day, hey man, it's a rules ball game. And as far as the safety is concerned, you obviously are the primary communicator, at least in our defense, you are. Right. I got to know the next step before the next step even happens. So as I'm watching the film, hey, when this guy moves, does that change our call? Does that change our alignment? Go through the mechanics of that. When am I going to see certain things? When am I going to see certain looks, some formations? All right. Now, again, the NFL is a people business. Okay. When they put this guy, how are they trying to get this guy the ball? If he's in this spot, if he's the receiver and he's at the number 3 inside, all right, there's a reason why he's there. Yeah. Figure out why he's there. And again, does it directly affect you? If it directly affects you, how are you going to make sure that you recognize that, or we communicate that, and we get ourselves in a good position to succeed on that down? But again, I wouldn't say go in there and try to learn it all. Learn exactly what pertains to you. See those keys. Know that communication, know that adjustment. So when you see it on Sunday, you control the game with understanding. That's what I always say. Understanding leads to control, and if you understand your personal responsibility, what's going on, then you can put yourself in a good position to be successful.
And obviously, you can take it to the I guess the master's class as far as knowing the linebackers role and knowing the D line and their stunts, and how you have to fit in on the run game. But definitely for the youngins, man, for the youngsters who's listening to this, DB wise, those are some of the main things you kind of need to focus in on and focus on, to make your play and make you play fast. and have the understanding of what y'all supposed to be doing.
Here's an exercise that I've done over the course of the years that I've coached. So, what I say is see a little, see a lot, see a lot, see a little.
Yeah.
I'll write on the board, see a little in little small words, and next to it I put see a lot. And I'll do the same thing. I'll say see a lot, and then little words next to it I'll put see a little. I say, well, now focus on this see a little right here. What do you see next to it? I see a lot. Okay, perfect. So if you just focus on that, you could see everything that you need to see. Now focus on this big ass see a lot right here. Do you clearly see what's next to there that's written small? No. Because if you're trying to see too much, especially on the football field, you're not going to see nothing. You need to focus on what those keys are. And again, it all goes back to the preparation. All right, what does that guy's mannerisms look like Monday through Saturday? Because on Sunday, it's going to be the exact same. And now you can go from this key to your second key, and now you can play fast versus trying to see too much. And obviously with teams like the Rams and, everybody with this pre-snap movement and motions and stuff like that, all this doing is testing your eye discipline. I understand what that means to you and how that could adjust, but you got to make sure that your key is where it needs to be.
So now with how the league is going, the things that you just talked about, these pre-snap motions and everything that they're doing now, I know for us, me playing that slot defender position especially, this would be the time where I would want more anchored calls, right? Where I don't have to run with motion and have to really necessarily think about what coverage I'm going to be in on the other side of the field. Is there, league-wide, is there being more, anchored calls now than when we played?
I can't speak for everybody's system. I mean, you have to have rules in place to make sure you handle that, especially as a nickel. We talk about the nickel. Hey, if you traveling in man coverage, you got to have, you got to go. And are you going to adjust it? You're going to push it? You're going, how are you going to handle that? You're going to spin the coverage. And obviously, hey, if it's, man aligned zones, hey, am I running versus the missile motion? Am I staying? And, okay, what is that? And that's another from a preparation part. Okay. Hey, what does the missile look like versus what does the regular motion look like with that slot receiver? How am I going to determine the difference? Especially as a nickel. You got to have those rules. And a lot of that stuff is obviously kind of, coming from the college ranks. And you're starting to see a lot of, you see like guys like Josh Allen and Mahomes, and really kind of where the game is. It's not two back run downhill. Like it was played 20 years ago. See a lot of the spread stuff, which fortunately enough for me, I feel my path to being here allowed me to be prepared to be able to teach some of that stuff, because some of those same schemes I've seen at the college level over the last couple of years and defending it. And so, when I get up here and I see some of that stuff, I kind of have my experience on the rules of how we handled it. And obviously as a staff, we collectively come together with what we're going to do. But you definitely got to have your rules in place, because that's just the way the game is played now with the spread and the RPOs and the fly motions and stuff like that.
Man, and then y'all just talking about the nickel position. I think me and D-Bub, we kind of talk about it all the time. Like the nickel position is probably one of the most important positions on the field, because, like you said,
that position has so much value, as we know. I mean, you got to be a guy that can cover. Obviously, there's more space that you got to defend, especially when you start talking about man coverage. You got to be able to tackle. You got to be tough. You got to set edges out there on the perimeter. Or you gotta defeat blocks. I mean, you're gonna have guards and guys pulling on you, and you gotta be strong enough to set an edge, or savvy enough to be able to slip a block and make a play. You're gonna be asked to blitz. You're gonna be asked to play zones. You got to be highly intelligent. And then, DB, as you got used to that position, and it's like, okay, how do I incorporate the skies? These quarterbacks are dumb. Hey, if I show outside leverage and we showing rotation away, we don't have to show that we playing split safety and I'm about to slide inside of two and I'm about to make a drop, or vice versa, or hey, I'm gonna show like I'm coming, but hey, I might be playing the half, and so as you get used to that piece, guys understand, at least defensive coordinators and obviously DB coaches especially, you understand how valuable that position is. It's a starter at the end of the day.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a starter, and most of the time, I mean, 65% of the snaps are sometimes played in nickel defense. 5 DBs on the field. So, that position, man, is so valuable now. It's that's just the way the game is played now.
Yeah. And
gotta be a great communicator too.
And I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that. Yeah.
You got to be a great communicator, and obviously with the safeties and the nickel. I mean, sometimes corners, man, you cover. And then we get into this bunch, we get into this stack. It's like the safe, or excuse me, the nickel or the star or whatever. He's making hey, we doing this. Hey, we doing that. Hey, be alert for this, be alert for that. Or hey, if I'm in a zone and I got a cut split on 2 and it look like he about to access your third, hey, nasty split. Hey, watch the. So you gotta be a great communicator at that position. I think that again, it comes with preparation. Some guys can't do it because they can't communicate or they're not committed to doing it. You gotta be a loud communicator. You gotta be an assertive communicator, and you gotta prepare for that stuff. And again, you doing the same thing that the safety's doing. Okay, what does that mannerism look like when it's run game? Now, okay, all right, backs to my side. All right, now I'm in the RPO conflict. Now I got to read the in-man on line of scrimmage. If I see run, I got to snap my eyes too, get ready to squeeze the slant, or all of that. So you got to be, as you know, it's valuable, and you got to find one to be a successful defense. Have to.
Yeah.
Now you guys, what you got, Twan? My fault.
Go ahead, D-Bot. You good?
Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about your secondary. So we had Xavier Howard on our last episode. You got Xavier Howard. You got Byron Jones, you got Rowe, you got McCain. Like all these guys have. I know McCain has played slot, he's played corner. Rowe played corner, played slot, played safety now. Even Byron Jones has that flexibility, has played both positions. How has that helped you guys, like going into game plans, like being that versatile? Is that why you guys can do all those crazy zero blitzes or cover ones and do still making plays? Like how does that?
I think when you have guys who have really a coverage foundation, guys have made the transition from corner to safety and with Rowe and McCain and it allowed us to do all the things that we can do from a versatility standpoint, to have Rowe, match up and cover guys or send pressure when we wanted to, or play zones when we wanted to. And I think one of the things that allowed us to do a lot of the stuff that we did this season is Bobby McCain is an elite communicator. That was one of the things that there's just so much value that certain guys like that doesn't reflect on a stat sheet mean to the defense. And so, when you have that and you have a guy like X who's playing at a historical level, and obviously Byron Jones is doing his thing on the other side, just obviously not having the crazy ball production that X did this year, it allowed us to do some good things, and it allowed us to play well as a secondary and play consistent. And there's a lot of things that we wish that we could have done better because obviously it wasn't good enough to get to what we really wanted to get to this season. But it's a special group to work with, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to work with these guys, man. And they're ultimate professionals. They're guys that just want information to get them better. And we laid a pretty decent foundation that we can build off of for the next season.
Yeah, so D-Bot just kind of ran off the the guys that y'all got back there playing great ball, right? So as an outsider looking in, they could be like, well, damn, like you the DB coach, that's an easy job for you. You know what I mean? Tell the folks that's for one, being a DB coach, I think it might be easier for you because you were DB. I know all the DB rooms that I've been in as a player, we used to give our coach hell. You know what I'm saying? Just with the personalities and what I mean? You would have some personalities or whatever, but just with the caliber of players that you have, and maybe it is easy for you because you have good guys who's coming in, who's willing to learn, who's willing to listen. You know what I mean? Just talk to like the outsiders about like when you do have these grown men that's like you say, X got 10 picks right now, playing at a exceptional level. You got B Jones that's doing his thing, and you have these characters in the room. Like, how is it as a DB coach being able to manage these personalities, or even do you manage it? You just let them do what they do?
No, I think there's a lot to that. I mean, obviously from a coaching standpoint, you got to have good players to be a good coach. That's just that's just the way the game is, man. If you don't have guys that can do what you're asking the guys to do, then you won't be successful, no matter how good of a coach you think you are, no matter how legendary of a coach that you have the reputation of being. So, but I think my role is really creating an environment that those guys can work and succeed in, you know, and that's good. Again, being a good teacher, you know, teaching the fundamentals and holding the guys to a level of accountability to the standard that we set in our DB room. You know, what I want to do is I want to make sure that our culture, the things that we do, you know, and how we operate, and I've always been this way with my groups, and no matter what level, that we're the standard and we're setting the bar. We're pushing it every single day. How we practice, how we prepare, how we meet, how we communicate, you know, how our physicality shows on the film, and what that resume looks like, you know, and obviously you got to have good players. But again, it's the cultural standard that I uphold to make sure that those guys are playing as well as they can play. And that's the hard part. That's the heavy lifting. When you're trying to change behavior of individuals who have been successful in their careers, there's got to be buy-in. You know, and luckily I've been able to, you know, obviously have some relationships with these guys. And fortunately enough for me, I got a chance to play in the league. So those guys kind of, you know, look at me with the level of respect, like, okay, you know, buddy did what I'm doing. I can vibe with him a little bit, but that doesn't necessarily, you know, make me successful as a coach because I play. You know, as we all know, some former players can't coach. That's just the facts.
Yeah.
But for me, that's kind of what, that's kind of how I operate and how I see, you know, me leading the room and the responsibilities that I have in order for them to succeed. Again, yeah, we had, you know, X had a crazy year, but, you know, that's over with. You know, and our success, like, we can't eat off last year's plate as we get into the 21 season. So now we got to go back to square one. For me, square one looks exactly like we was talking about earlier. Football 1-on-1. Let's teach the game. Let's push the envelope. Hey, these details that we may have talked about last year, they weren't consistently executed enough for us to get our ultimate goal. So we got to go back. We got to push it forward. We got to push the envelope some more. We got to run harder to the ball. We got to attack the ball even harder. We got to practice even harder. We got to do things even harder. Because as we know, man, that's the small thing that you can do to make a big difference.
For sure.
That's a bet. So overall, like, what's your overall aspirations in the coaching? Ultimately, you want to be a pro head coach, college head coach, D coordinator?
I think obviously the coordinating thing is a goal of mine. The head coaching thing is a goal of mine. I think, you know, I want an opportunity to continue to lead. And as I'm doing in my room right now, you know, right now I'm the head coach of my room. You know, I'm the head coach of the DBs for the Dolphins. I think that, you know, over the course of time, as I continue to learn with my experience, you know, seeing how Flo interacts with the team every single day, seeing how the culture he's set, really starting with his vision to our coaching staff and how we push that through the locker room. You know, that's something that I aspire to do one day. And it's an inspiration to me to work for Coach Flo to see a black man leading the team in the NFL. You know how unique that opportunity is. And so I'm able to be inspired by his interaction with the team every single day and be like, yo, I want that to be me one day. So those are my goals. And that's not to say that I'm focused on them all the time. Right now, I'm just focused on being, you know, a good DB coach for the Dolphins. You know, getting these guys to play at an even higher level. Let's take the next step, whatever that looks like, but let's take the next step in what we can do as a secondary for our defense, for our organization to hopefully get into the tournament next year and see what happens.
Nah, it's dope, man. You just talking about Coach Flo, man. We got a question, man. He's a faithful of ours. Please give your thoughts on Brown Flores getting fiery and passionate against the Bengals in that scuffle.
I mean, I think that you look at the situation that happened when you got a guy who got smoked twice by a gunner early. And, you know, again, you know, our job as coaches is to love our players and their job as players are to love each other. And if we build off of that foundation, man, then you can have a pretty special culture and a pretty special team. And so when you see a teammate or you see somebody, you know, who's getting a cheap shot, I'm pretty sure, you know, tempers flared up and he might have had an out-of-body experience right there, but it was based on his care for an individual that was on his team. And so, that's what happened. I stayed my ass on the sideline. I'm looking for the personnel, and it's like, yo, I don't even know the rules, but I ain't on tape.
You try to get that FedEx.
Man, get me on tape, man. Wife gonna be mad about that, man. Calm your nerve.
You already know. Man, we're gonna let you go in a couple of minutes, man. Who are with the teams that's left? Who you think got the best chance of making that run, man?
I think it's important, as we all know, that you got to be playing some really good football at this time of the year. Things, no matter how you started, it matters how you're playing right now. And I would say just, the way the Bills have been playing, as of late, they just got something going. You can just see it. We saw it in our last game. They're playing at a high level. They're playing at a high level. They set themselves up to be able to obviously do some things at home. And have to maybe go on the road once. Obviously, when you're playing this time of year, you're playing the elite teams. So I would not be surprised to see them accomplish the things that they probably set out as a team, just because of the way that they're playing. And again, we know game day is at 60 minutes is all that matters. And if you're not playing well that day, it's over. Just playoffs work. But it'll be interesting to see how this thing plays itself out as it continues to go.
Wow. So you and D Butt saying the same thing. The Bills.
Yeah, man. The Bills look good, man. Josh Allen look good right now.
Playing well. They're playing well. Offensively, they're playing well. Defensively, they're playing well.
Yep.
Obviously, it's a different challenge when you're playing against Lamar and the versatility that offense creates, whether it be through the air or especially on the ground. But we'll see, man. That's the beauty about the NFL, especially this time of year, man. It's the best reality TV show that's going.
Yeah, that's for sure. Man, GA, man, we definitely appreciate you, man, stopping by, man, talking ball, man. Definitely got to have you
on, man. Again, keep doing God's work out here, man. Letting this beautiful game.
Man. Sure. We're gonna enjoy, continue to watch your success, man. Keep it up, man. I know you're an inspiration to a lot of people. Appreciate you, bro.
Man. Appreciate that.
Sir.
Appreciate you, fellas.
All right, man.
Yes, sir.
Man, that was good conversation right there.
Yes, sir.
Joe Alexander. You can just tell by the way, he was speaking here on the podcast. Shoot, if I was in his meet room, I'm gonna listen.
Yeah, locked in.
Yeah, locked in. So, like you just said, man, definitely going to keep track of his success, man. We'll definitely be hearing his names soon, coming up in them D coordinator positions and head coach positions, man. So. Definitely. Shout out to GA.
Yep. Times 12. Hour flew by.
It did.
Yeah, man. So we gave our picks for this week already. But if you didn't hear that Rams-Packers game, we both like the Packers.
For sure.
We both like the Packers. Baltimore game, I like the Bills. AB likes the Ravens.
Yes, sir.
What about the other ones?
Shoot, KC and Cleveland. I'm going KC. I think we both going KC.
Yeah, I like the Chiefs. So you think the Browns cover though? You think they cover that 10?
10. I don't know, man. I think so.
I gotta say so too. I ain't gonna disrespect them like that.
I think so.
I ain't gonna disrespect them. I'm gonna say Browns cover, but I got the Chiefs winning too.
Then you got the Saints and the Bucks.
Ooh. I think Saints Bucks 3.
I'm going to Bucks, man. I was talking highly on the Bucks all year. Even though I want to see another man-to-man alum, Jack Rabbit, Janoris Jenkins, man. I want to see him go out there and do his thing, but I'm gonna go with the Bucks, man.
Yeah, I think the Bucks gonna find a way, man. Like we said earlier, they've been close the last 2 times, but we'll see the Bucks get it this 3rd time. I'm gonna predict AB going off too, like $150 plus.
$150?
$150 plus. That's my prediction.
Jeez. $150.
My prediction, man.
We gonna see, man. Good weekend.
Yep.
Good weekend. Saturday, Sunday, man. Y'all tune in. Definitely we'll be back on Monday, Overreaction Monday. So as always, tell a friend and tell a friend. Shit, y'all have a great weekend, man. The Man Pod. I'm Antoine Mathay, my co-host, D Butt.
Yes, sir.
We out
of here. John Jay said that's bold. It ain't even Monday.